Dad, do you know why the Army pays me? I asked those words while looking directly into my father's eyes. The room became completely silent. His wife stopped counting the money on the table and slowly looked at me. She thought my Army paycheck was simply extra money that belonged in the family. She had no idea why I was receiving it, what I had sacrificed for it, or what I was about to reveal. My father looked at me and asked one question that changed everything. What exactly are you saying? I took a breath and finally told him the truth. For years, I had been the daughter my family rarely understood. I joined the Army because I wanted a future that I could build with my own hands. I knew military service would not be easy. I knew there would be long days, difficult training, missed family events, and moments when I would question whether I had made the right decision. But I never expected the hardest battle to happen inside my own family. Every month, my father seemed interested in one thing: how much was the Army paying me? At first, I ignored it. Whenever he asked, I simply said that my finances were personal. But his wife became more direct. She would ask about my paycheck, my allowances, and whether I was saving money. I noticed something uncomfortable. They were not asking because they were worried about me. They were calculating what they thought I could give them. The reality is that military compensation is not simply one single paycheck. Official military compensation information explains that service members can receive basic pay, allowances, and special or incentive pays depending on their rank, years of service, and circumstances. Some allowances can include housing and subsistence support. But my family did not see the sacrifice behind those numbers. They saw money. One evening, I came home and found my father sitting at the kitchen table with his wife. She had a notebook open in front of her. She looked up and asked how much I had received that month. I smiled and said I was not discussing my finances. She became angry. She said that because we were family, they deserved to know what I was earning. That was the moment I realized something had changed. I looked at my father and asked him why he allowed these conversations to continue. He stayed silent. Then his wife said something I will never forget. She said that I should remember where I came from and that the family had supported me before I joined the Army. I looked at my father. Then I asked him the question from the thumbnail. Dad, do you know why the Army pays me? He looked confused. I continued. They do not pay me because I am lucky. They do not pay me because I am your daughter. They do not pay me because I owe this family a monthly allowance. They pay me because I serve. The room became silent. I told him that military pay is based on official compensation rules and can include basic pay and different allowances. The Defense Finance and Accounting Service publishes military pay tables and explains that individual compensation depends on factors such as rank, years of service, and eligibility. Then I told my father what they had never wanted to hear. I said every dollar I earned represented time, responsibility, and sacrifices they never saw. I had spent nights away from home. I had missed birthdays. I had endured training. I had carried responsibilities that most people outside the military never understood. And while I was doing all of that, someone at home had been sitting there calculating how much of my money they could claim. My father's face changed. He looked at his wife and quietly said that she needed to stop counting my money. She immediately became defensive. She said she was only trying to help the family. I looked at her and said that helping the family was one thing. Feeling entitled to someone else's paycheck was something completely different. Then she crossed the line. She told me that if I refused to help, I was no longer acting like family. That sentence finally gave me the answer I needed. I stood up. I told my father that I loved him, but love did not mean unlimited access to my finances. I told him that I would help when I genuinely wanted to help, but I would never again allow anyone to make me feel guilty for keeping money I had earned through my own service. My father went pale. Then he looked at me and said something I had waited years to hear. I am sorry. Not sorry that I had money. Not sorry that I refused to give it away. He was sorry that he had allowed his wife to make me feel like my service was nothing more than a paycheck. That night, I left the house without giving them another dollar. For the first time, I felt completely free. And I learned something that I wish more people understood. Sometimes the people who count your money never stop to count your sacrifices. My father thought the Army paycheck was the story. It was not. The real story was everything that paycheck represented. The long days, the sacrifices, the responsibility, the independence, and the courage to finally say no. Military compensation is real and officially structured, but no paycheck gives another person automatic ownership over your money. That night, my father finally understood. He had not been watching his daughter become successful. He had been watching his daughter become independent. And when he finally realized the difference, he stopped counting my money. He started counting the sacrifices that had made me who I was.